Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick breakdown of the yellow Megumi deck. Haven't really ran too many games with this, but man, me and my friend were running some with it, and it looks pretty insane. As long as the consistency there, it's going to be pretty nuts. It's like a really good rush deck. But yeah, like and subscribe if you guys enjoy. Haven't done too many of these deck breakdowns, so bear with me on it. But yeah, so I don't know how many changes you really could make to this deck because of how restrictive it is. But man, if you can get the cards out, it is so good. So if you guys don't know, Megumi, he's a really, really good raid target. When played, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and grab a Shikigami or the Chimera Shadow Garden. That's what this entire deck is based around, is getting Megumis out with Shikigamis and just kind of rushing your opponent as fast as possible, getting more than 4 swings in a turn with your 4 characters if you can, as you'll see. But yeah, anyway, so we search the top 5 on play, grab a Shikigami or a Chimera Shadow Garden domain expansion. That's a field card that I'm going to show. You get to place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you also get to play a Shikigami as long as you have the energy to play it set to resting anywhere on your field. And then your Shikigami options are going to be, we've got Divine Dogs, black and white. They're going to be your 0-drop. When attacking, you get to buff anybody on your field for 500, any other character, just not them. And then we've got Nue, who is a when attacking draw 1, sideline 1. Really, really good card. That'll help you get the cards you need as soon as possible. Great Serpent is a 3k 2-drop, pretty standard, but you'll be able to get him up to a 4k very easily with this deck, which is really cool. We've got the Divine Dog Totality. This card is going to be your main Shikigami, the best one, the one you're trying to get out as much as possible, as fast as possible. What you're trying to do is get a Divine Dogs black and white into your sideline, and then once you do, this card is going to have damage 2 for the game, as well as him having a really, really good active trigger the 3k buff for the turn to one of your characters. And then, let's see, so yeah, those are the Shikigamis. Those are the only options you have, so odds are you're going to be running the 4-ofs of all of them. And then the best... one of the best domain expansions that I've seen. This card looks so insane. So the downside to it is you are not getting energy with this card, keep in mind. So you play it for 4 and then it's not giving you energy in its slot. But once per turn you can pay 1 action point, and all of your Shikigamis on the field are going to gain 1000 BP until the end of the turn. So you're going to be able to get really, really strong characters out as fast as possible for that 1 action point. You do that on your main phase. And then this is a separate ability. You don't have to pay for this. Once per turn, whenever Megumi is on your field and he swings, and when he attacks, you get to choose one of your Shikigamis and switch it to active on your front line. So you can swing with your damage 2, either force them to block with it because now it's a 4500 or something, and then swing with Megumi, and then allow him to restand and go with another damage 2 swing. It's going to be so stupid. And with how low cost this deck is and how fast you can get these cards out, like with Megumi's ability and this other card I'll show off here, his special trigger, you're able to get cards out as fast as possible for low energy cost. It's really crazy. So the whole thing you're trying to do with this deck is play cards as fast as possible. So I'll show off the special trigger real quick because it kind of plays like the rest of the deck here. Draw a card, and then you get to play a Shikigami onto your energy. You get to play a Shikigami character with 3 energy or less, and they are all 3 energy or less, so it only applies, it'll apply to all of them here. From your hand or sideline, which is really, really, really cool. Keep that in mind. You can also play Shikigamis from your sideline, so you can block with them or sideline them with Nue, knowing you can bring them back later. Set to resting on your front line, but if Megumi's on your field, you get to actually play him set to active for 3 energy. It's so dumb. So there's very little removal in this deck. That's definitely the big downside to it. Just keep that in mind. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to swing up to 5 times per turn by turn 3 or 4. And then we have this really, really strong color Megumi card. When played, you get to play 1 character with 3 or less energy, 1 action point, and Shikigami from your hand set to active onto your field. So you play him on your back line to get your energy up, and then you get to play a Shikigami on the front line. And then if this guy is what bumps you up to 4 and you save an action point, then you can play your Shikigami, your Chimera Shadow Garden. Really, really, really strong. And then you also have this other Megumi giving you 2 energy. When played, you simply look at the top 5 and grab a Shikigami, bottom deck the rest in any order. Really good search card because you don't have to sideline anything. And again, you're trying to get a Megumi out as soon as possible so that you can swing with it and get an extra swing with your Shikigamis out when you have this Chimera Shadow Garden. And then, yeah, we also have the 0-drop Megumi, of course, for our simple raid target, 1500 add to hand trigger. And that is honestly majority of the deck. The rest of what I'm going to show you is kind of, you know, variations that you guys could make, but I don't know what else you would really throw in here. There might be some changes, but yeah, I'm really curious to see what these decks end up looking like. The 0-drop I have in here that I threw in is Yuji. He's just the double energy generator. If you rest him and then sideline him during your main phase. Again, he'll be really good because of the Chimera Shadow Garden and stuff like that, because it's not generating you energy, and you're trying to push up your Megumis and stuff like that, of course, rating them off eventually. So energy might be an issue at some point in this deck. Just keep that in mind. And then I also have Inumaki here. Shout out to my homie that I was playing with, because he was using this card and it was really good. He's an impact nullifier, which could come into play if you don't know what that is. If someone's swinging with impact, you can actually defend with this character and that you don't lose a life. Unlike every other character in the game, impact will take a life if you defend with the character. But he also has an amazing ability that will just let him chill on the back line, or maybe even swing with him a couple times too, where you pay the 1 action point just like the Chimera Shadow Garden, but every character on your front line gets 1k buff. So you can buff your Megumis with this to 5k, you can buff Inumaki himself with this by 1k as well. You can hit that as well as the Chimera Shadow Garden and get a 2k buff to your Shikigamis. I think this is a really good card. Or if you're struggling to get this out, you still have the 1k buffer, because that's the other thing with this deck, is you don't have a bunch of 4ks. You're really depending on either getting this Chimera Shadow Garden out to get extra swings, as well as the 4ks across the board, because you can get this guy up to a 4k 4500, you can get this guy up to 4k 3 to 4. Just keep that in mind. 4 is like the big number, right? Because there's not a lot of 5s in this game, which are the only cards that can actually block and defend. So if they have 4ks and you have 4ks, then they kind of have to take the lives or lose the characters. That's kind of the mindset, right? But yeah, Inumaki, I think he's going to be a really, really good addition. And that's basically the whole deck. Obviously, domain expansion if you're not running your 4 finals and your 4 specials. You might want to rethink that. But yeah, that's basically the deck there. I think there could be some changes. I don't know if you would maybe swap out this Yuji for another 0-drop or this Inumaki for another card, but I don't think you're going to take out any of these Shikigamis, because you're trying to search and spam play them as much as possible, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think this deck could be pretty top tier. Obviously, with a lot of other decks, there's more testing to be done, but my friend was running it a little bit, I was running it a little bit, and as long as you can hit the cards you need early enough, you can get an insane front line out and swing like 5 times. It's crazy, with big numbers and damage too. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I'll have a link to the deck in my description if you guys are curious. Shout out to EX Burst, of course. Let me know what your thoughts are on the deck. Let me know any changes you may or may not make. Let me know if you think it's going to be top tier. Yeah, I'm really curious to see if this deck ends up being an annoying problem, because rushing and winning by like turn 4 or 5 with this deck is going to be insane. I experienced it myself, so yeah, we're going to see. But yeah, like and subscribe, etc. And yeah, let's go.